Fidelity Bank. For all your banking needs, visit fidelitygroup.com. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us in this wonderful Thursday edition of Talk Today, as we have a chance to chat with some excellent students celebrating the 2019 KPMG Breen Bowl. And then at 1 o'clock, the Honourable D'Angelo Miller will be our guest, so please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255. Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. You imagine we do this every day, and every day it's a joy. I'm so grateful, especially in the days when we get a chance to highlight the continued partnership with our private sector and our schools, to be able to celebrate our students and to give them an opportunity to shine in the showcase and to recognize that with them, our future looks bright and beautiful. Now, joining me in the studio, some excellent students from Triple C School, the 2019 KPMG Breen Bowl champions. And first, as we had a chance to chat with KPMG staff, perhaps initially speak to Miss Deanne Blackman for marketing. Right? No? What did I do that right? Yeah, let's do it right, Miss Deanne. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
They say, whenever you're in a company of ladies, if you're not a gentleman, you would not, be if you didn't allow the ladies to shine as they do always do. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having us. We're very excited to have our 8th annual KPMG Breen Bowl tournament this year. We had a lot of new and exciting elements that were added. We were at the Kimpton Seafire Resort yesterday, and it was a lot of fun. We partnered also with the Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation this year. So our guest speaker, Jessica Harvey, presented to the students, the parents, and other guests and dignitaries and ministry officials that were present, and it was a fun day.
Well, thanks to you and Cindy, I know all the incredible team that continue to work hard, not just the funding, the financing, but the personal commitment. And I think our students benefit tremendously as parents, where we can see not just the enjoyment, the fact that they're learning and they continue to share that knowledge and that desire to acquire more. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Luke Murray over at KPMG. They say, behind every great woman is a better man. Is that what they say?
definitely not. I don't want to take any of the limelight from Deanne, nor Cindy too.
Oh man, but I say this sincerely. We recognize the importance of having that continued partnership, not just with scholarships, not just for the personal edification, but for students to enjoy learning, to recognize that balance that will come some days. They may be physically out of school, but they're still engaged in the academic environment, and to have professionals like yourselves serving as mentors to recognize that you are too away from your day. It makes learning, but it also makes the idea of contributing that much better. So thanks very much. Your thoughts on the continued support from KPMG for their Breen Bowl?
Well, first of all, it's a big part of our wider commitment to both literacy and the children and the future of the island. But I think it's also a great opportunity for all of our staff to actually do something different, to get outside of the office. I think I do enjoy being an accountant, but there's a lot more to life. And actually, one of the most fun days of the year has actually been there sort of participating on my piece of paper and probably realising that I probably wouldn't have made it to the quarterfinals on my own. And it's inspiring to know that a lot of our people are really keen to be involved, to support the initiative, and every year get a lot out of it, as well as the students do.
And that's the thing, I think, recognizing that even as adults, as professionals with however many years, sort of post-qualification experience it is, that these questions sometimes can throw you for a loop. Yeah. It's not just the general knowledge things that happen, but the things historical. Yeah. And maybe your winning team would allow us perhaps some of those questions. With great respect, though, maybe can I go around the table and ask our students a couple of questions, brief introduction of themselves, equally some thoughts on the whole participation and preparation. Ms. Manu, would you be mindful if we start with you first? Good afternoon. All right, lean right into that mic, pretend you on stage and you're just about to take the Grammy. Good afternoon to you. Introduce yourselves to our listeners. Grab it by the base, pull it in closer. Don't be shy. Step up and sing hi.
My name is Manu. I'm in grade 12 in Triple C, and I'm 17.
So that means that if you go in this way, your turn is next. Share that smile with our world, my friend.
Hi, my name is Nasser Levy. I'm in grade 12 in Triple C, and I'm 18 years old.
All right, that's good.
I'm Gabriella. I'm also in grade 12, and I'm 16.
Okay, Michael.
I'm Michael, just like everyone else. I'm in grade 12, and I'm 17.
Hi, my name is Denise Wico. Denise Wico is my name, and if your name was Denise Wico, our names would be the same. So I'm in the same class with all of my partners, and we're in grade 12, about to graduate at the end of this school year.
We'll see about that. Just hold on. No, but seriously, Ms. Deanne, when we think of, look at these students, we recognize that there is a jovial approach to it, but there's probably, something that they may not fully want us to appreciate. The amount of commitment all of the teams, not just the winning teams, but all of the teams sort of put into their preparation. And at some point from Triple C School, Mr. Bob Langford, maybe we'll invite him to share some of the perspective in relation to the continuing sort of commitment to getting the students prepared and the like. Now, as we get into that, tell us about maybe some of the other participating schools as well.
So this year we had all 12 high schools participate again, including the high school from Cayman Brack, Lehman Scott High School. And it's always a pleasure to have them and host them. We had Clifton Hunter come in all the way from North Side. I know with the traffic nowadays, they had to get an early start to the hotel, but it's great to have a mixture of private and public schools on the island participating. And seeing everyone interacting and working together, it's, for me, really rewarding. I love working with young people and helping them to progress and get ready for their careers in the future. And for me, now I'm looking across the table, I'm like, wow, I recognize one of these students from when she was born. And for me, it's rewarding again just to be a part of it.
We're going to kick it back to Denise in a second, but first, Mr. Murray, as Deanna was sharing, this transition, this time, some of us, you probably more so than me, can remember that it was just yesterday that we were not that far removed from where they are in relation to excitement, graduation, next steps beyond high school. The world is their oyster, they say.
Yeah.
Unless you don't like oysters, and then it can be a squid or lobster or just your, protein shake. What do we, for parents and for future students coming through, what do we say to them in relation to making this Greenbow part of their exercise, but more importantly, continuing to appreciate that there is this work-life balance that some of us hear about, after we get 40 and 50 and near in retirement. Start it now so you understand it.
Absolutely. I think the first thing is that for all of the young people now, it's a lot more confusing. There's a lot more information available than ever before, and we see a big focus on what's real and what's not and fake news. And I think when you see an event like this, you actually understand that our young people are very clued up. They answer these questions, they understand the facts, and they still need to go. So the skills that you show there in terms of understanding what's real, what's fact, is really important in every decision you make, not just in terms of a career decision, but it's every life decision that you make. So that's, I think, really, really important. And I think on the balance side of things, I think, we have to celebrate our successes, and you can't, go out and win everything and do everything. So I think my advice to the team now is, I'm sure they've got lots of exams coming, but there's always time to celebrate success and have some downtime and spend it with family and friends.
Indeed. Mr. Deese, if we may ask of you then, Mr. Murray shared, we sometimes respectfully, as teachers, as parents, as coaches, even sometimes as older siblings, don't appreciate how, not just cued in and clued up our young people are. You know equally what's happening within their own shores and what's happening across the pond. Tell us about that, and not just from the perspective of preparing for Rainbow, but just being involved in life. Are you, as a generation, aware as we think, or even more so?
I think our generation is quite a mix. We not as outgoing as many others would think that we are, but while we're at home, we still do learn a lot of things that most people don't learn. Like a lot of our time is spent reading in articles or just like news of celebrities or different groups internationally. So I think a lot of students today know a lot more of international news than people did in the older generation.
Ms. Langford, sorry. Michael, Denise shared, we probably don't realize that the aspect that we as the older generation think of socializing. We'd probably rather meet for a cup of coffee or tea than to get on some device and communicate. But that's the language of today. Yet your generation knows more or as much of what is happening almost immediately. We're waiting for it to be printed and aired and broadcast. What does that mean for you? From the perspective then of, as you look at learning and knowledge and future careers, but also talking and socializing, I know that Miss King is going to jump in there because she's nodding. But your perspective, learning and the way you're taught and the way you embrace the information and you share it.
It definitely changes the way people learn quite drastically, because like a lot of people say nowadays, like if you don't necessarily have to take a class on something to learn all about it. You can go on the internet, you can learn everything you need to know about pretty much any given topic. And in regards to socialization, it is true that young people prefer to spend more time like on their phones texting other people rather than meeting up with them in person. But another factor to consider when it comes to something like that is that third spaces are also starting to disappear. So it's harder to find places for people of our age to go outside of our houses and find places to go, especially in some place like Cayman. There's not a whole lot for the youth in Cayman to go outside and interact with each other, unless you want to go to the beach or Camena Bay for the 50th time.
Miss King, what would you add to that?
I completely agree with Michael as well. Social media is definitely allowing us to like reach higher heights and get more information as well. And what I did like about this Brain Bowl is not only did they look at like international news, they looked at like Caymanian as well. I think one thing as a youth in Cayman, we actually don't know a lot about Cayman, and that's actually crazy because we're in Cayman and we know more about like the States, know more UK than what we know about ourselves. And I really appreciated the fact that we had some questions about Cayman as well, and that really, to me, I'm a very patriotic person, so I really appreciated that.
Thank you. Is that, then, if I may, not to belabor it too much, is that lack of knowledge because it's not as accessible? We can't go online quickly and Google the stuff. A lot of it's still oral, and I want to ask Mr. Lever to weigh in on that. Then, Mr. Murray's thoughts of, or comments regarding fake news. Is it then that we've got to be careful that the information that we access, even though we think is a trusted source, it may just not be 100%. How do we make sure that it is, especially when we're looking at our history and some of the things that may guide you? You want to jump in there? Oh, come. They told me, we voted and they say you were the smartest one. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of fake news going on around, especially around about now, I guess. I guess we need documentation to make sure that it isn't fake news, and also like get all the information before we go running around making decisions, because that is honestly one of the reasons why we're where we're at right now, because we're not.
Thank you. If Mr. Denise wants to jump in, if not, I'll go to Mr. Levy.
I just found it kind of interesting that, I'm not from Cayman, I'm from the Philippines.
I thought you from West Bay.
I came here when I was very young, but I also studied in the Philippines and America, and then in those countries you get history of American history or like Filipino history or whatever country here, but here I found it interesting that it's only in 12th grade now that we're learning about British Caymanian history. So I think it would be better if Caymanian history was introduced at a much younger stage for the children here so that they could understand more about their own country.
And you'll be amazed how rich and wonderful this history is. It's incredible. Maybe I'll talk about that because what patriotism runs in our veins. Mr. Leavisor, any thoughts from you? The information that our young people seek, the prospect that some think, they don't care, they don't know, has been quickly dispelled. What would you add to it?
A lot of young people nowadays don't really get the information about our island much at all. We don't offer it that much, so none of us really care enough to actually go seek it or try and find it ourselves, unless someone actually, from like our grandparents or someone, will come to us and talk to us about it and tell us about what actually happened during the olden days.
Okay, yeah, like yesterday.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to ask you to continue unless Miss Manu wants to share a thought before we go to the break. I know she's okay. And then go ahead. Yeah.
I feel like by talking to older Caymanians, you learn more than you would in school about the history of Cayman.
Okay, when we come back from the break, we're going to ask Mr. Bob Langford to share that whole idea of preparing, because it's all about, making sure our students have this lifelong passion for learning. And then Mr. Murray, equally, have you share more with us with respect to the 2019 KPMG Breen Bowl. 1 p.m., Mr. Ezra Miller will be our guest. We're going to talk some politics then. Maybe at the end of the day I still have a job, but hey, we can always hope, right? Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Did you know that CPR Cayman is now a registered non-profit organization? The government is spending a lot of money on their campaign, so we need your help to get the word out to as many people as we can. You can make a donation via our website cprcayman.com or call us at 938-5876. This is our first People's Initiated referendum for a decision that will affect everyone's future. It's your vote, your future. So make a decision based on fact. You deserve the whole truth.
Think about something that makes you happy. Did it make you smile? We know it did, because that's what we do at Sagicor. Put smiles on our clients' faces every day. With a large range of products to cover your family, it's no wonder most locals choose Sagicor for their life insurance needs. Serving the community for over 25 years. Let us put a smile on your face. Call your Sagicor advisor today.
Did you know that once properly sanitized, some tinned food items may still be safe for consumption after coming in contact with floodwater? In order to properly sanitize these tins, always remove labels, and then wash tins in a strong detergent solution using a brush to get rid of excess impurities. Tins must then be immersed in a solution made of 2 tablespoons of chlorine bleach per gallon of water for 10 minutes. Ensure that containers are air dried before opening. For more post-hurricane food safety tips, visit the DEH website at deh.gov.ky.
Are you one of the pensioners on island at risk of having their monthly payments stopped? The Public Service Pension Boards would like to remind its pensioners that their annual pension continuation certificates, PCCCs, have been distributed through the mail. To ensure continuity of benefits, please return your PCCC by December 31st, 2019. If you have not received your PCCC form, please stop by the Public Service Pension Board's Grand Cayman office, located on the first floor of the Government Administration Building, or the Cayman BRAC office, located at number 5 Dennis Foster Road, to address this matter. If you are a shut-in or have care or control over a pensioner who is unable to be transported to the Public Service Pension Board office, please call the Cayman office at 945-8175 or the Cayman BRAC office at 948-2544 for special assistance.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thank you so much for joining us. And when we have an opportunity to celebrate and showcase our students, I'm as excited as if I was in the class or if it was one of mine, because our students really remind us of why we do what we do. In the studio, as we talk about the KPMG Breen Bowl, we have Mr. Luke Murray together with Deanne Blackman. And 5 of the CCC students this year's Breen Bowl champions. We'll tell you about the other participants. But equally, Mr. Bob Langford, principal of our CCC. these events are challenging at times because students have to do their work, teachers have to ensure that the schedules and all the stuff get done.
Right.
There's a lot that transpires just even on the day, the logistics of making sure students safely get from point A to point B and back. It's a lot, but it's rewarding, not just to take the trophy, but to have all the other stuff.
It's always rewarding.
Yeah, pull that micro close to you, Mr. Langford.
It's always rewarding. We participated for the past 4 years in the Brain Bowl competition. I've always been proud of our teams, the efforts they put forward, our relationship with KPMG. I'm proud of that too. First year we took second place. The next year we took third place. Last year we got trounced, and that's okay because even when we get beaten, even when we're beaten, we stay the whole day and support other teams because it's a very festive type day. KPMG does a fantastic job of putting on the FET for the whole group, and I want to give them kudos for that. But our teams, basically, we start off with a general group of people who are interested in participating and competing in the Brain Bowl. And we have auditions, then we have some challenges, and then we narrow it down to the 5 people, 4 and 1 alternate. And so we have some other very capable kids that would have done well, but these are the cream of this year's crop for the Brain Bowl.
No, Mr. Murray, as Mr. Langford shared, that commitment, it's a lot. Not just the money that is expended, but the amount of time that and other resources that our KPMG put into it. Our students benefit. How is that when it comes to the continuum sort of partnership that KPMG has sort of demonstrated its commitment to the community?
I think when you're actually there though, and you very quickly put any sort of money and time aside, and you see how much people enjoy it, the competition, the people's faces in the final, and especially when they win. So it all becomes worth it. But we have a committed annual budget with regard to our spend within the community, and it's part of our values, it's part of our goals for our people. So it's very hard to ever sort of separate it from our general business activities because it's embedded in everything we do. And the reality is people want to stay at a firm and work for a firm that does more than its day job and does some good. And I think, I find it one of the most rewarding days of my year to come and enjoy this and again see how poorly I can do against the future of the island.
Hey, listen, I think a lot of us probably feel the same way. Having the good fortune once or twice to just sit briefly in the audience and hear the questions and, oh, I know that one. I have no idea what that question is. Would that be then, if it's not too much to ask of our students? Mr. Neese, we start with you. Some of the questions in the rounds, maybe 2 questions. What questions you found to be the most intriguing, whether that was hard or easy, and what questions you looked at and go, that is weird. You did, Mr. Neese.
This year I found there was many baseball questions. And it's just, baseball is very focused and limited to American.
That's a sport, right?
Yeah, the American region. So I don't really know much about baseball except that my brother plays it.
You know what? Thanks. I'll make a note of that because baseball, no baseball question. No, but Michael, whether you athletic or whether you just like some of us love the stats that different sports provide and we get to do some analysis, or whether you're being dragged because we got a bond. But for some of us, sports are everything. For others, is baseball a sport really? I'm just checking. For you, Mr. Michael, what questions or topics that you found intriguing or that you really wish there were more of or less? Your thoughts on the whole.
Another thing similar to the baseball, because for the baseball questions, like barely any of them were answered because again, we don't know anything about baseball. None of the other schools know anything about baseball. It's not really a focus, and it's one of those things. Going back to talking about information on the internet, it's one of those things where you don't really learn about it unless you're actively searching for it and you're actively invested in baseball. Okay. Especially if you're not living in the U.S. and you're not kind of saturated in it or steeped in it. But in terms of other questions, I think there were also a lot of questions about like singers from the 1900s, singers and like film writers. And I definitely think that there aren't many people in the Brain Bowl teams. Like people aren't chosen because they know a lot about stuff like film or singers. And I definitely feel like that's something that teams as a whole in K-Man need to focus more on in the future is stuff like being able to know, artists, being able to know producers, et cetera, et cetera. Because it's not just about the academics, and that's kind of something that all the teams always focus on is just knowing math, science, English, etc. But generally there's not a big focus on the other knowledge. So I feel like that's something that every team, including ours, needs to keep track of for the future.
So as we asked Ms. King that question, the idea then that you always hear teachers in particular, we want to develop a well-rounded student. We want you to know more than just your thumbs. We want you to be able to talk about things, or at least have an interest and tolerance and acceptance and be accommodating. Is that what you're sharing? So other than economics, the other subjects don't matter? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, it's just that, I don't know, it's just that there's always such a huge emphasis on like the core subjects. And this goes for all of education, honestly, at least when it comes to like high school, is that there's such a huge emphasis on the core subjects that all other subjects kind of tend to get drowned out a lot of the time.
Ah, I like it. Well, Ms. King, anything you wish to add? What question that you just recall immediately?
Well, I need to shout out Clifton Hunter real quick because they were like, there's a lot of good sportsmanship. You honestly have to say that, like, the schools are very, especially like the ones that we had, like Prep and Prep and St. Ignatius and Clifton Hunter were the ones that we played against, and they were all like very good sportsmanship, but particularly Clifton Hunter, because they got a question wrong actually, and this was, I think it was a tiebreaker, or was it not a tiebreaker? I don't know. It was something like that, and I was managed to steal it from them because they got the question wrong. It was something with if the earth, something with the ball dropping from the ground, from the building, and then they said why would it land
farther away
from where it was supposed to land, and then they said because of the rotation of the ball, and then I know nothing about science, okay? Like, I said to them, do not expect me to answer science questions or math questions, because that's not, we all have our strengths. And then I was like, oh, but wait, it's the rotation of the globe that stops it. So then I just quickly said it to them, and they were just like, oh yeah, that's the answer, and I just said it, and then we won that round. So that was pretty fun. Yeah. It was pretty fun.
Teamwork and collaboration.
It was.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, that's when we survive and not just succeed, but we excel when we collaborate together. For you, Mr. Levy, any particular question or subject, area that you were fond of?
Well, anything marine was my forte. Like, all of the marine questions, most of the marine questions were asked when I was down, when Manu was up, but I was answering them from the ground, which, like, some of the questions, like, what was the largest eye in a sea creature, which was, like, the giant squid. That really interested me and stuff like that.
All right. See that one? Miss Manu, it was all on you. What about you?
While we were sitting in the audience, we were also answering questions as they were being asked, and I realized there was a lot of lengthy questions where, like, by the time the question is done, you kind of forget what they're asking for.
Oh, sounds like our constitution. Very sensitive. Wow. See, it just gets started, man. All right, with that, we go to the break. Hey, laugh along with us, Two things the world needs a lot more of according to the third world. One of them is love. And then if you share love, the agape love makes it all around. I really wonderful, inspired by our students. Let's pause and take a break. I believe the phone lines are open. Don't be disappointed when you call and you don't hear Susan. We have the other guy over there. DJ Lynn, yeah, he's over there. He'll answer the phones the same way. When we come back, we'll talk today.
Sometimes having a middleman is not a bad thing, especially when it comes to insurance. Do you know that when it comes to cost, ease, speed, and peace of mind, insurance brokers ranked higher than when customers buy direct? So, for all your insurance needs, call Fidelity Insurance. We're the middleman you want. Call us today at 949-7822. Fidelity. We're good for you.
CUC advises participants in the Green Iguana Culling Program to exercise extreme caution around the CUC's poles and power lines, especially when extracting iguanas from trees or branches that are in close proximity to poles and power lines. Participants should keep all objects such as poles, sticks, or hooks away from any CUC equipment to avoid any electrical contact. For further information, please contact our customer service team at 949-5200 or via email at service@cuc.ky.
This referendum is bigger than the port itself. This is going to teach our people that, yes, we can make decisions. We can stop roads from being closed. We can stop markets from being developed. We can get jobs, we can be trained. Never again will we be second-class citizens in our own country begging at the doors of the NAU. I implore you to come out and vote in this referendum. We can change our circumstances forever.
Saturday, November 2nd.
Breeze Fusion 2019.
Are you ready?
The Breeze Fusion 5K, 10K walk run. Bigger and better.
Now featuring a 5K walk run and a 10K run for half marathon trainers. Join the fun and help raise funds for the Central Scranton Park and the NCBO.
Yes, Cayman Islands, it's back. Your chance to be healthy. Your chance to give back.
Save the date or register now at CaymanActive.com or at Radio Cayman Studio.
The Breeze Fusion 5K, 10K walk run.
Saturday, November 2nd.
I like to move it. You like to... The Breeze Fusion 5K, 10K walk run.
Taking place at Smith Bacadere, starting at 6:15 a.m.
Do you know any young person between the age of 10 and 25 with proven success in the areas of business, academics, career, sports, culture, or community service? Here's your chance to recognize their achievements by nominating them for the Proud of Them Awards. To play your part in honoring our community's most extraordinary youth, simply visit www.proudofthem.com or www.education.gov.ky to find the nomination instructions and details. Nominations are open now and close on November 20th. Join us in inspiring our youth to reach higher. Brought to you by the Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports, Agriculture, and Lands.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you so much. And again, thanks to our wonderful teachers, our excellent parents, and that continued partnership from our private sector to ensure that the students not only feel supported and nurtured, but they're encouraged, they're rewarded, recognized, and sometimes given a platform. We're talking about the 2019, KPMG Green Bowl, and in the studio, Mr. Luke Murray together, with his colleague, Ms. Deanne Blackman. Ms. Deanne, if I can speak to you just quickly again before we continue talking to this year's KPMG Green Bowl champions, students from Triple C School. Maybe a couple of questions. First, the students referenced some of the other schools, and we were jokingly, well, I in my mind, thought that the students from Lehman Scott managed to get to the hotel much quicker than those from Clifton Hunter. But, we've seen it, all of the schools, the high schools, coming together from all across our country and participate. That must mean that they see the value, they see that the healthy competition nurtures continued education. For you and for perhaps next year's Green Bowl, what else you want to share with us?
Yes, so definitely it's one of the, I guess, I would say the most rewarding parts is being able to see all the high schools together. And it is a healthy competition. Just listening to the students just now and their input and views on how the questions were laid out and the types of questions. I know I was sitting in the audience and I was trying to guess some of the answers, and then I was like, wow, how did they know that? But it's good to hear that, they were happy to have a mixture, and they recognized that we did put in the effort to have a wide range of questions that weren't only academic focused, but also general knowledge, and not only about international platform, but also locally. And it's good to know that they had an appreciation for that and to hear that. I did want to touch on, though, that this year we did introduce a new award, and it was the Team Sportsmanship Award. And throughout the conference, we, observed the interactions with the teams and, their general sportsmanship. And again, it's nice to hear that, the students here also recognize that, there are other teams having great sportsmanship, and we're all being team players. And this year, the award was awarded to Lehman Scott High School. So huge congratulations to them. Because again, we're not only looking at, the academic side, but also, being a team player. You don't only need to be a team player for sports. You don't only need to be a team player in school, but even when you go into the work environment, you're always having to be a team player. And it's good to see that the students are developing those skills from now to have for lifelong.
Well, that's it. And with that, then, maybe, Ms. Denise, if I could ask of you, without question, I would say without hesitation, parents, more so than most, but even teachers, we focus on academics. We want to see the grades, you know. Yeah, you got 15 A's and 1 A minus. What happened there? We focus on an A minus. But without the academics, where are the scholarships? Where are the other things? In addition into the academics, Michael alluded to it, we want to see other things. This, in relation to teaching and learning, and for you, focus continue on academics or wider the perspective?
I think academics is really important, but it's also equally important to have, you know, involvement in the community or be involved in sports or like be a team player in a club or something.
Mm-hmm.
I know in like many other countries, like in Japan, it's mandatory for all high school students to be part of a after-school club that they participate in. So besides the academic factor, which Japan is also very well known about, they're also pushing their students to have some downtime, some fun, which is healthy for students of this day.
All right. For my benefit, and with the greatest respect to our students, not going to ask you, but I'm a parent. I'm trying to learn how to be a better parent. So, Michael, if I may ask you, you spoke about it, and as parents listening, we want our children to be engaged in other things. We want them to have that downtime, but we're pushing them, to get the best grades possible. From your perspective as, grade 12, university looms, you have career choices ahead, you have all these other things. You could do it all over again. Would you spend more time gaming, or more time sports, or more time studying?
I don't think I would change much about what I do right now. Although, so for me personally, right now I'm very academic focused. I don't spend a whole lot of time doing other stuff besides academics, especially since we're so close to the end of high school now. Now is the best time just to focus specifically on finishing academics, getting good grades in school, because then after this year, we're done with that chapter of our lives. I do think that I am not very well-rounded in that I don't do very many after-school things like Brain Bowl. It's one of the first after-school activities, or just extracurricular activities, that I've taken part in since I moved here a few years ago. And I do think that it is very beneficial to have something like a sport or any sort of extracurricular activity, because otherwise you're just going to be so focused on your academics and you may not be able to really discover things that you like doing, and that can translate into a career or even just hobbies that can help you live a better life in general.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, because I wanted to ask Ms. King and Mr. Levy in particular, and then Ms. Munn will have you joining. The society, and as educators, and again, as parents, we always want more academics without appreciating these extracurricular when they are their sports. From that perspective then, is it more about participation in terms of developing not just the fun, the health, the balance, but also the, holistic approach, the well-roundedness? From your perspective, more dance and less drama, you think?
From my perspective, right now, at least what I'm seeing when I'm applying for colleges, they're wanting your grades, yes. And when you go for the scholarships for these colleges, they want the grades, yes. But it seems like everyone gets 4.0s now, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, what makes you different is what they want from you. And that translates into what you do outside of school and what you do that is not academic. So therefore you stand out from the people who just focus on academics. So I have always been a person who does both. I'm not the strongest in academics, and I'm not the strongest in core subjects like math and science, but I am strong in English. So I will do things that pertain, and I find that when you do extracurricular activities like Brain Bowl, you open up yourself to more opportunities. And I found my career through doing other things other than academics. So it has helped me personally.
Okay, so I got a couple more years to keep my job before you come take it? Okay, no problem. Well, thank you. And I'm hoping that as people listen to the question, that they recognize that this is why the partnership of the Brain Bowl. Before I continue with, Mr. Lever, Mr. Ward, this is the investment. You're looking at your future employees, your future, these could be the entrepreneurs whose businesses, your firms, they become your clients.
Oh, 100%. And I think it's great to see that there's a recognition as well that rounded skill set. And I think all of the all of the kids that took part yesterday showed the ability for teamwork. Like, I didn't see many examples where someone just shouted out an answer. They'd always talk to their colleagues, they'd ask and check, and I think you find in life that actually the more you work with other people, the better the end result. And I think all of the team, particularly Triple C, probably one of the main reasons they won is they worked together as a team and they got the best result.
That notion and that the chain is only as strong, as the best talk show host. No, something like that. That's how it goes. No, Mr. Levy, not to you, but your thoughts. If you wish to add, to what your classmates were sharing, or take us on another path. I mean,
to go along with what Gabby said, is a lot of us like to focus just on the academics. You just want to focus on what your grade, your GPA, or your SAT score, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of colleges nowadays, they're looking for what makes you unique, what makes you different from others, what other things are you interested in that makes them want to have you, and as well as why they per se find you more attractive than someone else that is just focused on academics and nothing else. They don't have any personality towards them as well.
Mm-hmm. Ms. Manu?
I feel like in grade 11, grade 10, grade 9, it was easier to do more extracurriculars, but grade 12 especially is harder because the load of work is more. Like the boxing gym, like I'm not able to do all the extracurriculars that I wish I could, that I actually enjoy doing. Not just to put on my resume, but that I actually want to do.
Hey, thanks for sharing that. And I'm hoping that, and then I hope I didn't say or share or ask or do anything that, but your wisdom, the insight that you shared, the fact that we who are listening, especially as parents, should quickly recognize that you're not only informed, but you're concerned. You're not just knowledgeable, but you also have this knowing aptitude to, well, what is it that we're doing now and how it's going to affect us. Ms. Blackman, as we close our discussion, I can see why you and your team continue very much to invest so heavily in this perspective. So congrats and thanks again. Now, last question for you.
Okay.
Next year, give us any previews. What can we expect for next year for the schools to, who just didn't get involved or who weren't sure? What can they do now? Because never too late to start planning.
No, you're right. It's never too late, and I can only say we have more exciting developments to come for 2020, as it will be our 9th annual Brain Bowl tournament. And ironically, we just had a meeting this morning, and we're talking about ways to improve next year and new ideas. And I'm very excited, to say the least, that what we have in store. Obviously, we can't disclose just yet what we're planning to do, but stay tuned. And just in the event that anyone wasn't able to attend the tournament yesterday, we did stream the entire tournament live on Facebook, and the stream is available on our KPMG and the Cayman Islands Facebook page. So if any parents or friends wanted to tune in and to see the excitement from yesterday, we really encourage you to visit our Facebook page to see the full event.
All right. Thank you all very much. And as we close out, with respect, any of our students may wish to have any final comments. If you feel free, go right ahead. If not, no problems. Ms. Denise, nothing you wish to share?
I just hope to encourage other students like us to be confident enough to join the Brain Bowl. It's really a wonderful experience, and thank you very much on our behalf to KPMG for all your efforts and organizing the event. Thank you very much.
Wow, teamwork. Mr. Marissa, thanks again, and it's a pleasure. As a parent, even though it's not my students, they feel like mine. This means the country can really move forward. Thank you very much, sir.
No problem. And I think just a message to any of the parents, for any of the students that were there, for any of the teams, you should all be really, really proud of what your children achieved and showed.
And without the parents, but equally with the partnership with the schools, Mr. Langford, we wouldn't be able to have this celebration.
Yes, we look forward to it every year. I just want to give a quick shout out to Denise's mother, Mrs. Sweeko. She did a lot of work helping to organize Brain Bowl this year for Triple C School.
All right. See, parents. And Ms. Blackman?
So lastly, I just want to thank everyone that participated and took part, especially to the ministry officials and government officials that took the time out of their day yesterday to join in. Some even stayed the entire day from start to finish. Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation for partnering with us this year, the coaches, students especially, and all of our KPMG volunteers that came out throughout the day to be the judges for the tournament.
Well, you know what? next year. I think we've had you guys on every year that's been going on. So God's willing, next year I mightn't be here, but I might be. But I know his twins will be. So we get a chance to come on.
And congratulations again to Clifton Hunter for placing second place, and a special congratulations to St. Ignatius, who placed third in the tournament this year. So congratulations all around to all the teams.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your week. If it was me, you can get Saturday off, but we'll see what happens. All right, we're going to pause and take a break. Thanks so much to DJ Lynn for giving us a few extra minutes. And when we come back, Mr. Ezra Miller will be our guest. So please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Continuing the Caymanian tradition.
Let Cora keep my ground so clean.
The heart and soul of the Cayman people. Thank you for keeping the culture alive.
There's wisdom news every day. From East End to Georgetown, down into West Bay.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have here on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice. For today's biggest news.
Access to information. Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom team.
Today's biggest news.
The Cayman Islands open season for conch and whelk begins Friday, November 1st. The season will run through April 30th and allows the taking of conch and whelk from coastal waters within legal limits. The legal daily limit for possessing conch during the open season is 5 per person or 10 per boat each day, whichever is less. Only queen conch may be taken, and no one may take or permit another person to take, purchase, receive, offer for sale, or possess more than 5 conchs from Cayman waters. In news elsewhere, the U.S. House of Representatives has passed a resolution to formally proceed with the impeachment inquiry against U.S. President Donald Trump. The measure detailed how the inquiry will move into a more public phase and was not a vote on whether to impeach the president. The vote was the first formal test of support for impeachment in the Democratic-controlled House. President Trump is accused of trying to pressure Ukraine into investigating unsubstantiated corruption claims against his political rival Joe Biden and his son, who worked with the Ukrainian gas company Burisma. Mr. Trump denies wrongdoing. Jeremy Corbyn vowed to transform Britain by taking on the few who run a corrupt system as he kicked off Labour's election campaign. The party leader promised to rebuild public services and hit out at tax dodgers, dodgy landlords, bad bosses, and big polluters. In a speech, Mr. Corbyn called the December 12th poll a once-in-a-generation chance to transform our country. But Prime Minister Boris Johnson blamed Mr. Corbyn for the delay to Brexit.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
King Sports Center takes pride in being more than just an ordinary gymnasium. For 14 years, their multi-purpose facility has been providing the community with a variety of sporting, recreational, and relaxation activities. King Sports Center has a lounge bar, multi-purpose rooms, powerhouse gym, rock climbing wall, bungee jumping, a 10,000 square foot rink, and so much more. For more information on the variety of services, call their friendly staff today at 946-5464 or email kings@candw.ky or visit www.kingsportscenter.com. King Sports Center, your one-stop shop for fitness, recreation, and relaxation.
Ambitious. Determined. Beautiful. And unapologetically uncompromising. You have set the bar high. Now let High Fashion and Design Studio take you to the next level. Full service hair and nail salon carrying the top designer brands. Calvin Klein, 9 West. Shoes, clothing, accessories, quality dressmaking, tailoring, and custom design. High Fashion and Design Studio, located in Cayman Trade Center, 199 Eastern Avenue, across from Bananas Restaurant. Call 945-4415 to book your high fashion and design experience today. Be bold, be true, be you.
The government claims the cruise berthing facility won't cost us a penny. It will be paid for by the cruise passenger who use it, not by our people or our government.
The fact is, you will be paying. Because government is going to give the consortium development team, led by Royal Caribbean and Carnival, a portion of the cruise revenue that is currently being banked by government. What's more, we will be repaying them
$450 million.
$250 million more
than what the facility even costs.
It's your vote, your future. So make a decision based on fact.
You deserve the whole truth.
Vehicle owners are reminded that the Department of Vehicle and Driver's Licensing amnesty will expire on November 1st. The amnesty provides a waiver of back fees for unlicensed vehicles. If you plan to keep your vehicle on the road, keep your plates and visit the DVDL. If you are discarding your vehicle, dispose of it at the landfill and drop your plates off at the DVDL. For more information, contact 945-8344 or visit www.dvdl.gov.ky.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program. Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. We're hoping to be able to welcome to our studio Mr. Ezra Miller, the representative for that wonderful, tranquil, peaceful, district of Northside. So hopefully gets a chance to join us this afternoon. But between now and then, let's have some open line. 949-8037 or 949-6990. And if you were able to listen to some of this comments our students just shared, I'm hopeful that you will, as I have tried to do, not just take it, with as much enthusiasm and as open perspective as possible, but to recognize that, what does it say? He who feels it knows it. And as our students shared, sometimes we don't appreciate that we ask them to be well-rounded, but we don't provide the opportunities. We expect them to know stuff, but they don't have the chance, the time, because maybe whether it's just inadvertent, whether it's deliberate, we pile a lot of homework, we assign all sorts of other schoolwork that makes it challenging for the student to get back into the exercise or to start up a new hobby or activity. All those things are important, but how do we make sure there's that balance? And I want to share that because earlier, a friend unfortunately shared some, very, very disturbing news. And he says, we talk about this work-life balance, but things transpire in your lives at times. And it's only when that happens that you're now trying to get things aligned. That what if you were able to have that as part of who you are from day one? And as he was sharing, he shared a comment, even in school, 50,000 years ago when we were in school, playing with the dinosaurs and probably writing on rocks and the like, you never really had that balance. If you were the more sort of academically inclined student, you didn't have time for other things. When you did, it was maybe not as embraced. Thankfully, that has changed. But even so, that student who is involved and very good at sports or other things may not always get a chance to do music or the arts, get involved with other activities, all because our schedules, we don't seem to make the opportunities to give the students as much of a chance to get introduced to as much as possible. But hey, we'll get it right, won't we? 949-8037, 949-6990. Those are the numbers to call and share your thoughts with us. Likewise, you can send us a WhatsApp if you choose, 925-3261. Now, as Miss Katina Anglin, one of our guests yesterday, was sharing, what is very, very, very noticeable is that for those who were unaware, it's becoming increasingly apparent that our people are not only interested in what is happening within the Legislative Assembly or what is happening politically. Yes, they may get their information not always in the traditional means, but because of this historic undertaking with respect to the referendum, our people are engaged, are informed, involved, want to contribute, want to, at the very least, have a voice that echoes this thing that we champion, that says we are this healthy democracy. Now, it doesn't mean that everybody's going to be on the same page. It may mean that there may be a convincing majority that are, but what it does mean is that all should have an opportunity to, one, access information, two, be able to distill that information, and then three, be able to act on that information as that person feels is the best option. And if we have that, then at the end of the day, should we not have a healthier, safer, more stable society? 949-8837 or 1-800-534-8255. Now, the other thing I wanted to ask, and I was hoping that, perhaps at some point we may get one of our other luminaries in our communities to join us, but if Mr. Miller is able to join us, we can perhaps pick up on that as well. But is this notion that has been again floated with respect to a Cayman regiment, whether it's going to be modeled after the Bermuda example or whether it'll take on another face of its own? Had a number of comments since the idea was publicized. A number of individuals have said anything that can improve our students, their disciplined approach to life, not just catering to this set of students, whatever label we assign to them, whether we assume that they're at risk or whether we conclude for some reason that because they're academically inclined they don't need this, or because they're coming from a particular household they don't need that. But make the opportunities for all of our students, all of our children, ones that improve them to enhance their well-being. Now, a number have shared, is it possible to approach this thing where it isn't sort of style in the military, where we give them guns and ammunition, and whether we use it as a training ground for future armies and the like? Now, for me, perhaps it was something that I could easily hear and understand. For others, well, they have a different approach. They see the importance of, they even term it skill at arms. For some of us, we quickly understood what that phrase meant. Others, we had to, what do you mean? Well, you give them, then they become, proficient in how to use guns and the like. Very, very simple way to share it. But could we achieve it? Should it be more of what when the Cadet Corps was proposed, more maritime base, where we're not only paying tribute to our heritage, but we're ensuring that because we're on an island, we are able to ensure that our people are skilled and comfortable around water. Perhaps the emphasis, as many of you have relayed, should be on disaster preparedness, not standing armored or police officers or some other uniformed service, running around with armored vehicles and submachine guns, as it were. What good is a bullet when a piece of bread would be what you need? Having a bayonet versus having the ability to suture a wound. Could we provide greater skill sets in that vein, as opposed to following what some of you have shared is really an archaic approach to policing or to security when it comes to our borders or our societies? Now, what are your thoughts? Can we achieve that without having the unnecessary expense and perhaps incredible expense of buying guns and ammunition and all that nonsense that seems to go hand in hand with some of the people who believe that having armed bodyguards somehow propels them into status? Or is it that that's the way of the world? In order to be safe, then he who has the biggest gun is the one who is perhaps best protected. But is it sort of, as two individuals have styled it, some sort of civil defense? Is that the way we go? Harnessing the resources of the hazard management, the CERT teams that we have, the existence of our Red Cross, and even some of the churches and some of the service clubs through their disaster preparedness programs, so that our people can understand how to respond, not just properly, but timely, and deliver a level of service and care after a hurricane or an earthquake, after an oil spill or some other tragic occurrence, maybe involving cruise ships or airlines, maybe something that inadvertently falls from the heavens. What is your perspective? 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Or are you like one of my friends who shares this the more guns the better. Everybody should have a gun in the hand, perhaps even two. And we move about the communities that much better. Criminals will be criminals, and they're going to take up whatever they can in order to use as a weapon to advance their causes, and no care or concern for anybody. Or is it, as a few others have countered when he said that? But if that's the mindset that we develop within our people, will we not expect that to be the outcome? Is a bigger prison that costs more the answer, or is it funding into programs that teach self-respect and develops a healthier sense of self and self-esteem that causes others to look at how their actions impact others, and equally causes them to consider what they can do to help others? Your view, 949-8837 or 1-800-534-8255. You can also talk about the proceedings in the Legislative Assembly, what you heard, what you were told, maybe what you witnessed yourself, whether you went there in person, whether you watched it. Maybe it was most of it, maybe it was just a clip someone shared. Does it, in your mind, allow you a greater sense of being involved in a democracy? Does it, in your mind, cause you to question, well, is it really a democracy, or is it that the majority rules, and in this instance, a number that is just slightly larger than the other number, whose decisions impact a greater number? Well, here's the number for you to call, 949-8837 or 1-800-534-8255, as we welcome you to be a part of our Open Line segment. Good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Okay. 949-8837, 1-800-534-8255. Our apologies there. Sometimes, we get it right. Sometimes we hit A instead of B. We press 1 instead of 3. And with great respect, give us a shout back. 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Call and share your thoughts with us as we invite you to be part of our discussion. It is open line, and let's see if we can do our part now to make sure that we press the right buttons and have your thoughts shared with all of us who are listening. Try it once more. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Sterling.
Hey, welcome, my good friend. How are you today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I just got off a flight and I was tuning into the radio to see what's new.
Man, you should be inside hosting the studio, man.
Nah, I was listening to the debate while I was away, and I obviously didn't get to hear it in its full content and live. But what I did hear, based on what was available on the YouTube channel, was very disappointing, to be quite honest. And I don't say that coming from me personally. It's just disappointing from a holistic standpoint, where we have a situation where the citizens of our country who are eligible to vote chose to hold a referendum to make a decision on something that we thought was a matter of national importance and may very well be detrimental to one of our largest pillars for our economy, one of only two of our pillars for our economy. So, and for the government to have taken the position to criticize the persons that led that effort and all of those persons who participated in that effort was actually a very embarrassing day for me personally. And it was very shameful because they were discussing a referendum bill that should have been in place, 10 years ago when they passed the Constitution that had a referendum clause in it. The unfortunate thing is that where it's a YouTube station, anybody who has any interest in the Cayman Islands and wanted to hear what's going on from a parliament standpoint, they would have heard probably the most, embarrassing exchange that I've ever witnessed. And it's unfortunate because it was the first time that the government actually had to sit a couple of days in the LA and talk about what the people wanted. It wasn't the government's business. It was the people's business they were discussing, right? Mm-hmm. And one would have thought that anything that the government do is the people's business. But here we are. We have individuals like Mr. Austin Harris who can call individuals names on the floor of the House and directly mislead the public as to what his personal opinion of those two people are. Is the floor of our legislative assembly a platform for politicians to criticize its citizens? Is that what we've become? Because I am not going to respond to Mr. Austin's accusations because that would be giving credit to his. But I just want to highlight that if our society has morphed into a situation where our elected politicians could have 2 full days of criticizing its people in our legislative assembly that we pay for and we pay their salaries, then this is a very dark day in the Cayman Islands. On the dawn of one of the greatest achievements for the Cayman Islands people, who engaged in the first ever People's Initiated referendum, which is the first of its kind anywhere in the UK or in the Commonwealth. We are the first to do it. One of the smallest overseas territories was able to accomplish what none of the other ones did or attempted to do. So I just my contribution on that, and the premier, which is quite embarrassing, for him to follow Mr. Austin's lead and continue with the rhetoric. Now, I have broad shoulders. I don't care if the criticism laid on me, but they also criticize the individuals, all the other individuals who partake in this process, who are true patriots of our islands, and I have nothing but the utmost respect for those individuals. And as opposed to applauding them and commending them, they were tearing them down and discrediting them. And I heard a few members of on the opposite side of the aisle saying that they would like to give thanks to the government for giving them the referendum. The government didn't give us a referendum. We took this referendum. We created this referendum. The government didn't do anything. The government did everything in their power to prevent it. And then they extended themselves when it was time to debate a bill by force, by compulsory, not by choice. They had 10 years to do it prior to, and they never done it. So this was by compulsory. They took and debated the opening ceremonies of the bill and criticized the members of this grassroots initiative. And I think it's a day of shame for the Caymanian politicians and for the Caymanian people themselves, because they were poor representatives in the House of Parliament by criticizing people who want to exercise their democratic right, and they should be ashamed of themselves. And the thing that bothers me the most is how easy they've done it, Sterling, and how confident and how consistent they've done it. I'm really, really 100% disappointed, and that's for myself personally, because as my son picked me up on the airport today, and the first thing came out of his mouth was, did I listen to the debate? And I said, yes, I did. He said, did you hear what they said about you? And I said, yeah, I did. I said, don't worry about me. He said, but why are they talking about you? And this is a conversation I have with my 18-year-old son who has no relevancy to anybody in Parliament. And they don't understand by criticizing individuals who care about their country enough to say something publicly. Don't understand that when you criticize me or Johan or anybody in CPR, by extension, you're criticizing our families and you're degrading our families. So shame on the Premier and shame on Austin Harris. And I just want to state one disclaimer. When Austin Harris was sitting in my house in 2017, 2 months before the election, with a big plate of turtle meat in his mouth that he could barely talk and went to sleep on my recliner, he should have said in the same breath that he called my name, the amount of negative criticisms he had about the now sitting Premier and the now sitting Speaker of the House. Maybe he should have made those utterances to be fair and above board when he was trying to demonstrate him compared to me. The reality is, Sterling, is that this is not about Mario and Austin or the Premier. This is about the people of the Cayman Islands concerned about one of our only products that we own, which is the second largest pillar of our economy. We're concerned that could be diminished by going mass cruise, and that is a real threat. That is a real concern. That is a real risk. We didn't make this up. There are other jurisdictions within our area that are suffering because they took that road, Sterling. And we are not heeding warning from these individuals and these places. The Western itinerary consists as Cayman as the premier destination. The only reason the Oasis ships passes Cayman is because Royal and Carnival choose to make them pass, because they cannot fill a ship in the Western itinerary on an Oasis ship if Cayman are a part of the agenda. And those are the facts. The bottom line is that these things are not developed by me or any member of CPR. These are facts that are sitting out there for all to see. These are the things that are available to our government, like they are to you, Sterling. But our government decides to turn a blind eye to the facts so that they could prop up their self-serving interest. And that's exactly what this is, because if this wasn't a self-serving interest, why did they make it personal against the CPR group? And that just right there tells you that that's the writing on the wall. And that's the environment that we're in. And it's unfortunate that we have a situation where our would-be politicians and our would-be premiers and leaders and cabinet are absolutely out of touch with what's really happening fundamentally in our island. And they're doing zero to fix anything. The premier made a statement about we need larger cargo ships so we can bring down the cost of living. Sterling, do you know what is the major driving cost for cost of living to be high? It is the compulsory goods, which is fuel and energy, and those two are tied in one and the same. If the Premier really wanted to do something to help the Caymanian people, he would have gone into OFREG and ensured that this country will reaping the global benefits of oil that has been circulating for the last 6.5 years. Everywhere else in the world is enjoying global low crude except for the Cayman Islands, because we have self-serving, personal interest politicians who are unwilling to put things in place for the betterment of the entire society as a whole, because it does not benefit them politically or financially. Things that the Premier said is mind-boggling and so off-base and so incorrect. But yet we sit down here and we digest these things and we just trek along as if nothing has happened. But I just want to end with this. The Premier made a statement that was very critical, and I want to highlight it to the listening public. He said that if this referendum was to succeed, that he may have to question his position as Premier and resign. Well, what he basically said, ladies and gentlemen, is that this referendum is no longer just a referendum to vote on the port. It's also a referendum for no confidence in the Premier of this island. So by extension, we'll be killing two birds with one stone. We will stop a port that will cause detriment to our overall product, and we will remove an incompetent Premier of this country. Have a good day, Sterling. I'll listen.
Hey, thanks very much and welcome back. Glad to know you made it back safely. With that, let's pause quickly, take a short break, and invite you to share your thoughts with us. Please stay tuned for Talk Today.
If your business is over here, but your customers are over here, adding more yellow to your business will bring you both right here. With everyone searching yellows, print, online, and mobile app, getting your business noticed is easier than ever. Book your consultation today at findyellow.com.
The 2020 Yellow Directory is closing soon. Last chance, don't miss out. Call now to sign up or renew today. 949-7027. That's 949-7027. Yellow. We know K-Man.
Le Classique's tent sale is this Saturday at the Trilogy Building on Mary Street, 7 a.m. until 6 p.m. Ladies and men's footwear up to 75% off. Clearance prices as low as $10. Don't miss the shoe-tacular deals at Le Classique's tent sale this Saturday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Trilogy Building on Mary Street.
Sometimes things just don't go as planned. That's why you need Contractors All Risk Insurance from Fidelity Insurance Brokers. Ensure you're covered in the event of property damage and third-party injury or damage claims during your construction projects. And with Fidelity Insurance Brokers, you can be sure you are getting competitive pricing and superior customer service. Call us today for a free quote. Fidelity, we're good for you.
As a Caymanian, it's very important to me that projects like this are thought of thoroughly before continuing.
My question is, do we need it? And I've not yet been fully convinced that we need it, nor have I been fully convinced that we don't need it. So
what guarantee do we have that these ships are going to continue to come?
Please make the right decision.
Please don't let the catchy songs overturn you. Please support the referendum. Please ensure that you are supporting sustainable tourism, not just money-making tourism.
If the project plans have changed, even though it might be insignificant on paper, it's going to be significant for the environment.
They need to release official information, official facts.
That's where I am right now. I want to know, I want more information on do we need it.
It's your vote, your future.
So make a decision based on fact.
You deserve the whole truth.
Pirates Week is sending out an SOS to all soca junkies. Sounds of Soca is bringing the biggest, baddest soca artists to Harbor Drive. Friday, November 8th, dance to the sounds of Irfan Alves, Alison Hines, and the Queen of Bacchanal, Destra. All backed by the Bacchanal Band. $30 pre-sold, $40 at the gate. Gates open at 7 p.m. But that's not all. It's a vibe with Nessa Preppy on Saturday, November 9th. Free. SOS also features some of Cayman's top DJs and entertainers. Sounds of Soca. A weekend of street dances. Friday, November 8th and Saturday, November 9th. Get your tickets now at Winner Circle, Blackbeard's Liquor, and eventpro.ky. Sounds of Soca is sponsored by Ministry of Tourism, Department of Tourism, Ministry of Culture, AI Rentals, Ace Hardware, Bacardi, Cayman Airways, and Sharkies.
Saturday, November 2nd, Breeze Fusion 2019.
Are you ready? Yeah. The Breeze Fusion 5K, 10K walk run. Bigger and better.
Now featuring a 5K walk run
and a 10K run for half marathon trainers.
Join the fun and help raise funds for the Central Scranton Park and the NCVO.
Yes, Cayman Islands, it's back. Your chance to be healthy. Your chance to give back.
Save the date or register now at CaymanActive.com or at Radio Cayman Studio.
The Breeze Fusion 5K, 10K walk run.
Saturday, November 2nd.
I like to move it. You like to move it. The Breeze Fusion 5K, 10K walk run.
Taking place at Smith Bacadere, starting at 6:15 a.m.
Do you know any young person between the age of 10 and 25 with proven success in the areas of business, academics, career, sports, culture, or community service? Here's your chance to recognize their achievements by nominating them for the Proud of Them Awards. To play your part in honoring our community's most extraordinary youth, simply visit www.proudofthem.com or www.education.gov.ky to find the nomination instructions and details. Nominations are open now and close on November 20th. Join us in inspiring our youth to reach higher. Brought to you by the Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports, Agriculture, and Lands.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. And if I was remiss of me, let me repeat again. I want to extend apologies on behalf of Mr. Ezra Miller. He was to join us. If you were following the proceedings in the Legislative Assembly, he made his contribution, and I think his voice probably has need now for a bit of a rest. But we'll have him on another time. It is open line though, and let's go to our phones. Good afternoon. Welcome you on Talk Today. Hello. Good afternoon.
Yeah, hello.
Hey, my friend. How are you today?
All right, Mr. Green.
Good to hear from you, man. All is well?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah. First of all, thank you very much to Mr. Mario.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very excellent in putting them in their place. Well worded and very well executed. Discipline in knowing that we have a government that is lacking confidence. Not only we lack in them, but they lack in us. That we can't decide for ourselves. You understand?
Yeah. If I might, I took a call quickly during the break, and the person was sort of picking up on, as you have, on Mario's comments just prior, when he said, well, the Premier has shared a vote of no would not only be, just against the cruise port as proposed by the government, but it would be against him. He would consider his political career. That's what the Premier shared. And so Mario said, as you heard, well, you'll be able to do two things one time: say no and then show your lack of confidence in the government. But this other person questioned and asked the question: does this mean then, because of the Honourable Premier's statements, that this now is a political project, not necessarily one that we're looking at for the national interest? Is this more than just the notion of we need to do this because it's good for the infrastructure? It's more of a personal ambition, political ambition. No.
From the start of it was, because when he finished that, he not gonna run no more, and not gonna be left behind to represent something that he built.
Mm.
And I wonder what they were going to name the port, Mr. Alden McLaughlin Port. What they were going to name that?
Never thought about it, huh?
Right. So what it basically and what they always doing is they take the garbage and move it in one side of the place to make space for the other people to start making more garbage. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
That's how they like to do things. And as far as I know, I wasn't branded, and I now work 5 cents return, like 5 cents refund on them, like how them plastic bottles is. I know that. I'm somebody. I know that those coral heads and those fish out there, they've been here before me. They fed people before me, and they have to continue feeding people after me. So if you're going to wreck that, I have to not only defend to the fullest, I have to defend every soul and every inch of my body to make sure that don't happen. And if it's good that he's finding or he's truly seeing that like he don't have no confidence in himself, so he better resign, then that's good. That's good. Plus what Mr. Mario was talking about, we lacking energy. That's why the cost of living is so high, right? That's not the case. The case is that we don't have no backing when it comes to agriculture, like saying every yard got at least a personal farm or something like that. They don't support that or anything. They would rather support putting fake grass in your yard than watching you grow your own food.
So our whole approach to how we live, how we survive, from your perspective, needs to be a strong consciousness as to how we think about it.
Right, like how we got a third of the farm, that should have been involved into a fish farm.
Hmm.
We should have little gates and things out there in those shallow waters farming fish. And you know what I'm saying? But no, they don't do that. What he say he gonna do? Retire and go to a farm. That's what he say he gonna do. So you would bring down the cost of living once we could afford, or once we can understand or gain the interest in our own culture that we are on an island. When you are on an island, you need to find the stuff for yourself, or you need to make sure that it's something that you need that you have on this island.
Right.
And one thing that you need is water and food.
True. Huh? And you make sure yeah, man.
That's true. We got a mountain full of garbage that they don't know how to get rid of.
Right. Well, I appreciate you sharing, man. Any other thoughts?
No, I just making sure that, everybody realize that they're lazy. It's all laziness that's wrong with them.
All right, man. Well, thanks very much, right?
Thank you.
All right, I'll talk to you again. And as we take the next caller, just a quick advisory. We're aware that there's an accident near the education department. So our motorists are there. Please use extreme caution if you're in the area. That's by the CMB roundabout where the education department is located. That vicinity there. So just be careful. If you can avoid the area, do so. But if you're there, be careful. Let's take a call. Good afternoon. Welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Hello.
Hi. How are you today?
All right. You're doing good afternoon to you.
Always a pleasure.
I have a question to ask regarding about the referendum. Can you check out for me, or maybe you can tell me, is they allowing to get postal ballots, as in the overseas voters being able to vote for the elections, or that is, somebody told me that as far as they can understand about it, that they were not allowing any postal ballots by mail?
I don't know if necessarily by mail, but if you are overseas, you can get it. Perhaps I can relate this way. My understanding is that instead of sending it by the normal mail, it'll be sent by courier. So you'll still be able to receive a ballot if you're overseas. You just won't get it in your post box or delivered by the normal mail. It'll come by international courier.
Just apply to the office there, or they do it online, or how do they do it?
I think you can do it both ways, in person or online. If you're overseas, obviously, go online and find a form. That reminds me, I did send an email. It was a Saturday. A number of people overseas, for some reason, I reached out asking questions about the process and how to apply, and even some of the information to be supplied on the form when they're filling it out, like their address and the like. I need to make sure I get that response so I can forward that.
I have some family that's overseas that is not going to be able to get home. Unfortunately, they're getting home one day after the election, but they would like to vote. But they said they were told that they weren't doing any postal ballots, so that's why we weren't sure if whether that was just a rumor or whether that was factual. I'm not sure. That's what I'm checking.
No, well, it is unfortunate that some people, I think, are allowing the process to be so politicized. But again, we will ask the election office for a formal sort of response. But postal ballots are still being issued. We know that with the elections office moving locations, some people saw that as just an unfortunate timing. You're used to it being in one location and you go there. And some of us don't have the same level of sort of tenacity, and we can't find it, so we won't go back again. People have construed that to mean that it's just, again, another political maneuver. It's just an unfortunate timing, I guess. But postal ballots should still be available to those who apply and qualify.
Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. And I'll make a note. Maybe someone else can do it right now. Touch base with the elections office and let's see where we can go. Let's pause though. Take a short break, and when we come back, more Talk Today.
Put a brand new 2020 Chevrolet Equinox Premier under your tree this Christmas and enjoy the most equipped SUV in its class with foot sensor liftgate, four-wheel drive, panoramic sunroof, ventilated leather seats, wireless phone charge, parking assist, front collision sensor, rear vision camera, remote vehicle start, and a 1.5-liter turbo engine. Whew! And the best part is, buy now and pay nothing until next year. Visit the showroom on Owen Roberts Drive for a test drive or visit advancedchevrolet.com to start enjoying your Christmas early.
Le Classique's tent sale is this Saturday at the Trilogy Building on Mary Street, 7 a.m. until 6 p.m. Ladies and men's footwear up to 75% off. Clearance prices as low as $10. Don't miss the shoe-tacular deals at Le Classique's tent sale this Saturday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Trilogy Building on Mary Street.
Did you know that CPR Cayman is now a registered non-profit organization? The government is spending a lot of money on their campaign, so we need your help to get the word out to as many people as we can. You can make a donation via our website cprcayman.com or call us at 938-5876. This is our first People's Initiated referendum for a decision that will affect everyone's future. It's your vote, your future. So make a decision based on fact. You deserve the whole truth.
Logic presents The Change Project, a campaign that highlights the reality of cyberbullying and the mental health impact it has on teens, parents, teachers, and families. Few people speak up when they witness cyberbullying, but we can change that together. We can strive to make a difference in our community by promoting responsible internet and social media use in the Cayman Islands and beyond. Will you pledge to make a safer, friendlier world online? Visit thechangeprojectcayman.com and take the pledge today. Proudly presented and supported by Logic.
Pirates Week got something for everyone. This holiday Monday, November 11th, come out to Culture Shop on Cardinal Avenue. Watch the youth snapper cook-off, learn how to make silver touch rope, blow a conch horn, and spin a gig. Local arts and crafts will be on sale, and vendors will offer up the best in traditional foods and treats. But wait, there's more. Find out who will win the District Heritage Ambassador Costume Competition and stay for the Illumination Parade and fireworks. Learn more at piratesweekfestival.com. Culture Shop, Monday, November 11, Cardinal Avenue, starting at 12 noon. Sponsored by Ministry of Tourism, Department of Tourism, Ministry of Culture, AI Rentals, Ace Cayman, the Tourism Attraction Board, Pepsi, and Cayman Distributors Group.
Also brought to you by Radio Cayman.
Always separate debris from household garbage after a hurricane hits. Debris includes roofing materials, downed tree branches, and metals. All items of debris must be placed in separate piles to the front of the property or at a side that is easily accessible to collection trucks. Debris must be placed in a location that will not cause obstruction to roadways or come in contact with electrical lines. For more post-hurricane waste management tips, visit the DEH website at www.deh.gov.ky.
Hi, it's me, your teenager. So I did an anonymous drug survey at school in 2018. The results revealed that a 13-year-old is likely to try vaping for the first time. And it showed that 3 in every 10 teens have already tried vaping at least once in their lifetime. Over the 3,000 teens that took the survey, 76.3% said that their parents have had the conversation with them about drugs and alcohol. Anyways, I was watching a commercial and this really cute guy said that vaping is much safer than smoking. And he used a vape that looks like a USB and has no smoke. It was so cool.
Contact the National Drug Council and learn about the Parents as Preventers training. This message was brought to you by the National Drug Council and Radio Cayman.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. It is open line as we invite you to call and share your thoughts with us. 949-8037 or toll free at 1-800-534-8255. Got some calls on the line, DJ Lynn. Let's go to our phones. Good afternoon. Thank you for sharing.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, Dwayne. Elvis here from the Blackwell. How you doing?
Mr. Elvis, good to hear from you, man.
Yeah, well, I calling in yesterday. It was about the reading. But today now, you remember, it's certain things that I'm passionate about, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been calling in now for the last 20 years. You know, tomorrow is the first day of the whip season and the conch season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now the honest Caymanian waited 6 months to get theirs. But the people that work here, come to vacation, got a vacation home, they rental, they can come off the plane tomorrow morning and go straight and dive they come. They're not worrying about the Wilkes, you know. It's a different breed eating out the Wilkes. They're the ones from down south. The Filipinos eating all the Wilkes. The American and things dying out the conchs. And you know what's so sad, Sterling? You listening?
I listening to you. Yes, sir.
Okay, when they put it in, they said we need to protect for our children and grandchildren the future. Now, when the Marine thing was started, we had 15 representatives, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now it's been there 30 years. And now we have 19 representatives. And when we first started, we could get 20 conchs. And now it's down to 5. We could get 12 lobsters. Now it's down to 3. We could get a 5-gallon bucket of Wilkes. Now it's down to 2.5. You know, we get more people in there representing us. But obviously, we, the poor people, we not getting the representation. There's nowhere else in the world that you can go on a work permit. You can come as a tourist, and you can go and take the natural resources of the country. There's nowhere else. I spoke to my representatives. Well, I'm speaking over the air. I'm speaking to all 19
right.
of them. I spoke to Ms. Gina Petrie about the thing with the group was. I say, okay, you want to stop that, but protect it. No border and permit fishing. No tourists come here. You can't get a conch. You can't get a lobster. And I say this over and over. You got people that got their vacation time. You can check it on the immigration over the years. And they're coming down for when the lobsters and the conch season is open. Now look at you got to go to Grand Ole, you got to pay $40, $50 for a lobster, right? But you can just go on the beautiful Cayman Islands and get your lobsters. And here what happened now, you know. The marine officers is not checking the people with the nice big fancy boats, you know. They're checking the poor little old John Crow with a little home boat in Baton. See him out there? That I came on and he's stealing. Forcing to steal. Now, you know, I thought one thing that a government to really take care of your people, if you want to take care of your people, I think that you would take care of their food, you know. I always hear about get jobs to put food on the table. Well, we got food on the ocean floor, but we make it our representatives, because I can't make the law, you know, vote them and beg them. Our representatives, for some reason, they are cowards. They don't want to. They don't. My thing is that they're anti-Caymanian. Because how I see it, I know I watch Eric Rupert and all of those big movie chefs that come here. I watch them go different parts of the world, you know. Rod Zimmerman, I watch him go hunting turkey and thing, but he has to have a license. You know, it shows you on TV. Yeah, we got a license for the day, but he can come right here, and I see him come now the submarine or out the sun with his big conch. Nothing, no permit. Nothing. You don't have to get a local team to carry him. And it's a shame. It's a shame, but it's like only me one in the wilderness, me one balling out old Elvis, the old gang just smoke on.
And when you say anything, then they cry you down.
Yeah, but you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir, 100%.
Okay, man, you see, what we got to do is take the things in our own hand. When you see somebody with a can go down and say, throw them back overboard and cause trouble, because they can't lock up all of us. And what we need to go on about 10, 15 boats and load as much people in the boats, not as much marine life, you know. And just break the law by one conch, and they had 10 people in the boat, and see what they can do then. That's what you got to do. But as usual, you know, boy, I don't know. We spineless. Something wrong with the Caymanian.
But
anyhow,
why? I mean,
I don't know, Dwayne. Anyhow,
yes, sir.
I got to get that across to let the world know. Come on down to the Cayman Islands, eat up the seafood. Nobody's protecting the indigenous Caymanian. Dwayne, you have a nice day, brother.
You too, man. Maybe Elvis for Parliament. That may be the slogan.
Parliament.
Take care, Mr. Elvis. In 949 8037 1-800-534-8255. I didn't say that to hopefully make anybody think that I'm being disrespectful, but if you hear me say that to encourage, as I've said before, and this is intended to be a political statement, every single Caymanian who is eligible should get registered to vote. So come election day, they can choose, hopefully, they'll be inclined to go out and vote. And then secondly, if you're so moved and motivated, get involved with the political process. You may not want to be a candidate, but there may be someone or a party or a team or a grouping that you think, you know what, I could encourage, I could get behind. The more of us that participate responsibly, respectfully, in a healthy, civilized way, then more participation, hopefully more ideas and better ideas and ideas that cause us to improve. Hey, let's go to the phones. Good afternoon and welcome here on Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Dreen, and how are you today?
Oh, I am blessed, and you might even say a little mischievous today, but who knows?
Mischievous? You mischievous?
Sometimes. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm blessed too.
Amen.
By the Almighty God.
Amen.
Listen, Dreen, I was in the LA Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday because I want to know what's going on because our representatives do not have meetings, especially about the sport and especially of the referendum to let people know. But what you told a previous caller is absolutely right. They can get a ballot just like when we voting for our representatives, if we could call them that, some we can call that, some is just to pull a paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have no fear in saying that for what I heard going on in that house, in what I seen going on in that house, that they call it the honorable house. I wish they would treat it honorable as they call it, not just bobbing till your neck pop off, but or you get a kink neck, bad kink neck. But what Mario say, it is absolutely right. Absolutely right. It was an utter disgrace of Austin Harris to go on like that about his own people, his own Caymanian people that were standing up for our rights and standing up to the government that's trying to push this thing down our throat. Now, I would not want to know that I be blamed for the destruction that God created, that beautiful water and the fish and the coral and everything else that God created for us, and then we're going to make somebody else destroy it because they want to get, it's not going to be no 200 million. It's going to be much more. Those of you that are not here at December the 19th, all you need to do is to call Udreen or call the election office and find out what they have to do. Not listen to what somebody's yan say.
Mm-hmm.
Because you otherwise vote no or you vote yes. That is your priority.
Right.
If that's what you want to do, it is your rights to do it because this is your country and we're paying them. They are working for us, but many people do not realize that.
There's something I want to, if you let me just quickly check. You vote no is no. You vote yes, it's yes. But if you do not go out to vote, you're a registered voter and you stay home, that absence means that you're voting yes. So
Exactly. I was very proud. I felt like a Caymanian again when the opposition got up to speak and to ask questions and to render what should have been corrected. And they did all of that. I absolutely was proud of Bernie Bush, not to let the Speaker of the House keep running it all over him again, like how he's doing to many, many, many people down here in West Bay and other places as well. He makes so many people believe that he is the only one that knows anything, and unfortunately we have some people that sit down and grin and take it all in. But if you're not going to be on the island, you can vote by absentee ballot, and you can call the election office and speak to Mr. Howell. He is very honest, and he'll give you an honest answer, and he'll direct you what to do. But my suggestion is, my opinion is, vote no. And don't use the excuse, it can be all the same all the time, all this. If we keep putting back people in there that do the same thing over and over and still collect paycheck from the working ones out here, the working Caymanians out here are paying them, and they got to realize that.
Yes, well.
They have to.
Listen, thank you for sharing. If you want to join us again, but respectfully, I've been treating the Jillian bad, so we're a little bit over the news, but thanks very much, Mom. All right, with that, we pause, take a break, and when we come back, more Talk Today.
Follow Radio Cayman on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/Radio Cayman.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have here on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice. For today's biggest news.
Access and information. Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom team.
Today's biggest news.
The Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports, Agriculture and Lands welcomes the Office of the Auditor General's report and recommendations on school education in the Cayman Islands. The report assesses the ministry's efficiency and effectiveness in using its resources to maximize student achievement. The ministry says they are committed to providing the best educational opportunities for the children of the Cayman Islands. Accordingly, the ministry allocates a considerable amount of its funding towards the provision of resources that will enhance the teaching and learning process. In news elsewhere, just a day after the president of Chile said his country could no longer hold the world's annual climate conference, Spain has offered to host it in Madrid. The critical meeting called COP25 was due to take place in Santiago for 2 weeks from December 3rd. Chile's president said his government needed to prioritize re-establishing public order after serious anti-government protests. Spain's offer will be considered by the UN's climate body next week. Iraq's prime minister has agreed to resign after weeks of anti-government protests that led to hundreds of casualties, Iraq's president announced Thursday. In a televised speech to the nation, President Barham Salih said Abdul Mahdi had agreed to step down on the condition that his successors agreed to replace him. Those are your latest updates here on Radio Cayman. I'm Shanda Gallego.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Ambitious, determined, beautiful, and unapologetically uncompromising.
You have set the bar high. Now let High Fashion and Design Studio take you to the next level. Full service hair and nail salon carrying the top designer brands. Calvin Klein, 9 West. Shoes, clothing, accessories, quality dressmaking, tailoring, and custom design. High Fashion and Design Studio, located in Cayman Trade Center, 199 Eastern Avenue, across from Bananas Restaurant. Call 945-4415 to book your high fashion and design experience today. Be bold, be true, be you.
Pirates Week is sending out an SOS to all soca junkies. Sounds of Soca is bringing the biggest, baddest soca artists to Harbor Drive. Friday, November 8th, dance to the sounds of Earth and Alves, Alison Hines, and the Queen of Bacchanal, Destra. All backed by the Bacchanal Band. $30 pre-sold, $40 at the gate. Gates open at 7 p.m. But that's not all. It's a vibe with Nessa Preppy on Saturday, November 9th. Free. SOS also features some of Cayman's top DJs and entertainers. Sounds of Soca. A weekend of street dances. Friday, November 8th and Saturday, November 9th. Get your tickets now at Winner Circle, Blackbeard's Liquor, and eventpro.ky. Sounds of Soca is sponsored by Ministry of Tourism, Department of Tourism, Ministry of Culture, AI Rentals, Ace Hardware, Bacardi, Cayman Airways, and Sharkies.
Do you own a Cayman parrot?
They are a protected species, but people have been allowed to keep them as pets for years.
It's opened the door to nest robbing and illegal trade of our national bird.
We need to stop it, but we should also give current Cayman parrot owners a chance to keep their bird legally.
If you own a Cayman parrot, you have until February 29th next year to register it with the Department of Environment.
Find out more about parrot registration by calling 949-8469 or emailing doe@gov.ky. Let's protect our Cayman parrots.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. Thanks for joining us. It is open line. Let's go straight to our phones. Welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Hello.
Hey, what's up today, man?
Yeah, sorry, good man. Rambo. Yeah, on the rock zone. Yeah, man. Trick or treat tonight.
Yep.
Yeah, trick or treat. And it's a very hot month. The record breaking October. Very humid. Sunrise getting darker.
Mm-hmm.
And how sudden I talk now with my stuff. So I trickle my stuff there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I heard my uncle, I was calling, and I heard him over the past 10 to 9 years on the airwaves, right? That they have citizens pass through wherever they are, immigrant. They get in 250,000 craft and they're raping the seabed. But the locals don't. They break it off from the courts to penalize them. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So then, come 2021, before the last day of assembly dissolved, right? Right? Let me tell you something. President, whoever the MLAs are, or the future, they will have a task. And they get criticism. They give them hell. Yeah? Anywhere. That's how it is. Critical. Right? Straight up. Like I said again, I hope next year, New Year's, I hope all of them open up the curtains and find out, smell the burra with this herbs thing. Right? First, let's start in Bernie Sanders in the US, right? For the last 5 weeks, almost a month to 5 weeks now, he advocating legalizing the herbs in all 52 states. Right? That's his mandate.
Mm-hmm.
I followed up on him. Right? Like I said again, I called about 3 weeks ago. I tell you Trump, his opponent, as a high roller.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What Trump doing now, banning vaping. You got a vaping epidemic up there, right? People die. At least people dying. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Global show like accumulating. And so I got finished this year. You see the port thing? I called Mr. OC one time about 2 weeks ago. And all this on one Friday. I'm on water break and I tell him, say, listen, I'm not losing my rest over this sport thing, this referendum.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not losing my rest over, I got things to think about, not bad things to do now. But like I say again, whatever the outcome is, right, the epic of it, life goes on. Right? And the crowd was permit, but say again, started, I don't hear no buyer's remorse. I don't hear, boy, we should have not 10 years ago. Right? The currency is low. Right? That's where I come from.
Right, right.
That's the aspect of it. I told you, live and direct went on the studio, yeah, in the physical form.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and starting to hope for one of these days when the afternoon they free up, on lunch break, whatever. If you can cater me, do my thing again.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
A lot of people say the best, on their waves, but to the work and thing, yeah. And my task assignment, this and that. And let me finish now. Like I said, I repeat myself like a broken record now. Like I said again, weeks before the last assembly dissolved 2021, I hope on the spreader sheet properly.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be candidates on the pipeline, whatever, Instead of the final thing I say, you see the one want to vote, I was really into for it. And then the clown getting, right? You want to see 300 something votes, sir. That's it. Right? And I said I'll run right now. Right? But you see the one want to vote, I don't like it because, say for instance, you won't vote for me, but you live across the road adjacent from me. You can't vote for me. You know what I'm saying? And like I said again, so when I was there in the studio a month ago, pop back the election in November. Or the back, everyone come and gone. See?
So
14 years ago, they're gone.
You think we should still move it back?
What about November? And the next thing, to make my life sweet, a national vote.
Mm-hmm.
That's last resort, national vote. Yeah, because a lot of people say they don't want to vote, it was good. Show merit. Not necessarily, I hear a lot of criticism of different class citizens in this island. Older than me, senior citizens, right?
Mm-hmm.
You hear their point of view about it, a different scenario. Right, it's a scapegoat, so you know time it is. Then, like I said, Sterling, come December 19th, whatever the outcome is, life goes on. I don't want to no bother. I called about it one time about a year and a half ago. I tell him, straight up in the morning, whatever the outcome is, no matter, life goes on. Change our leaf, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Lost some. So no more time. See?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Cool. Yeah,
thanks for sharing, man. And as the caller shared, his points of a national vote. It's been consistent. The idea of the elections now, despite the passage of Ivan, he wants it back in November. What are your thoughts on that? Is it that we are too far along now and we can't change it back, or as he and many others have shared, why is it always that we seem to think that it should benefit a small set and not the wider people? Why is it the politician and not the electorate? Well, maybe as someone would remind us, those of us who are not elected maybe don't fully have that same perspective. But with that in mind, your thoughts, if you wish to talk about a national vote or have the election. Now, talking politics, we know from those who either were watching the proceedings on Tuesday or read about it, saw it, heard it somehow in the media, MLA Mr. Bernie Bush decided that he would change sides, join the opposition. Now, the government still has a significant number. In your mind, is that significant? Was that a strong political statement? Is it representative of, as Mr. Bernie Bush shared, the views of his constituents? Is that indicative of a wider cross-section of people in the country across the other 18 electoral districts? If it is, well, where does that leave us as a people when we're looking for a decision, a collective decision on an issue of significant importance, not just the potential impact on the social environment, the physical environment, the finances and expenditures? What are your thoughts? 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. Certainly, as you think about giving us a shout and sharing your thoughts with us, could we invite you to be a part of our annual Breeze Fusion, 5K run walk happening this Saturday morning at Smith Pacadere? We're going to support, as we always do, the NCVO, but as we always endeavor, we certainly extend our reach across all of our islands, and as part of our initiative to ensure that Grand Cayman as well as Camelback and Little Cayman are included. It is one country. We may be separated by a small body of water, deep as it is, but we're one people. So certainly appreciate the corporate and individual partnerships and sponsorships. But the families who come out, and some use it as a continuing training for their other endeavors relative to their fitness. Some use it as a way to say, you know what, I want to be an active part of our community and making a contribution. Others find it as a good way to network and to ensure that they connect with people that sometimes this is don't know how they can. So please, registration is still open for our annual Breeze Fusion 5K run walk. Come by Radio Cayman if you want. Go on Cayman Active. It's all for an excellent cause. Hey, 949-8037 or 949-6990. Likewise, you can call us toll free with the compliments of Flo at 1-800-534-8255. And if you opt equally, you can share your thoughts with us on our WhatsApp 925-3261. Certainly invite you to share your views. Now, like a few of the callers earlier, do you share the sentiments that we probably heard from many of our colleagues? We have read in some of the postings, we have just overheard as we were in the supermarkets or in our favorite places, that we thought some of the comments shared by our parliamentarians during the debate on the referendum bill were, just to quote from what some have shared, disappointing, disgraceful, disrespectful. Or do you take it on the chin and say, it's par for the course, this is what politics is? Do you look at it and feel offended that it's not just something that is said and reported within our own shores, but because of the technologies that exist, the way we have now provided for anyone and everyone with an internet connection to be able to access? Now, will we look at it and say, you think they're behaving badly? Why don't you look at the British Parliament or the behaviors in other parliaments of other independent nations? Doesn't mean that just because people do something that you find unappealing, doesn't mean that you have to follow suit. But relatively speaking, is it really that bad? Or do you think it's getting worse? 949-8037. Toll free at 1-800-534-8255. And WhatsApp. You can record a voice note and send it. You can type it up however you do and send it. We'll read it or play it. It's 925-3261. And one of our WhatsApp questions that were posed to us, asked the question, and I'll answer the question, but I want to endeavor to answer it. It says, good day. Can you vote if you don't have a Cayman passport? And being quite honest with you, I think that the process that some have seen, not just under the election law and immigration law, has left a few people a bit confused, perhaps. There are those of us in our communities who don't have a Caymanian passport, but are considered Caymanian, some with Cayman passport, but are not. Some that naturalized, but don't have, this or that. So it's an issue. But if you're eligible and you don't have a passport, but you are a registered voter, and you've been able to satisfy the process. Now, the passport, as we've seen, isn't indicative of your nationality or your residence or what it is. For some, just a travel document. Now, as you satisfy the elections office with the relevant criteria is provided for in the elections law in relation to ancestry and when you were born and the like, then you are able to get registered once you're above the age of majority. Now, there is a process. It's valid, and you get registered today. It could be, as much as 6 months before you're on the electoral register. It could be just as short as 3 months. Some have shared why is it that the process is that long some would counter and say, well, there was a time when registration wasn't open and ongoing. You just couldn't go down and even with all the paperwork and satisfying all the criteria and get registered. It took for some what seemed like an ordeal. Now it's a lot better. Could it be improved? Well, if you have a view on that, certainly not only share it directly with the elections office, but do so publicly, because it may spark a thought by others who could, and combine, contribute to making it easier. Now, when it comes to voting in elections, should it be mandatory? Everybody is registered to vote, and everybody has to go to vote on election day, or is the system that we have a better choice? You get registered if you want. You go to vote if you want. Now, I ask that not just to ensure the freedoms and liberties that people enjoy should be preserved and protected, but on the 19th of December, as we go to the polls for this referendum on the cruise dock, if you go to vote and you say to the question is asked, no, that's a no. If you answer yes, that's a yes. But if you stay away for whatever reason, maybe you want to protest, maybe you're not feeling well, maybe you had too much to drink, maybe whatever the reason is, then if you are on the register of electors, so you are a registered voter, then effectively your staying away from the polls counts in the yes column. So if you want to say yes, you can stay away, or you can vote yes. If you want to say no, you have to deliberately and consciously go out and mark your no on the ballot. With that in mind, maybe having mandatory voting perhaps is good or bad. You can weigh in. 949-8837, 949-6990, or toll free with the compliments of Flow at 1-800-534-8255. And if you choose, you can share your thoughts with us in email form if you want. Talk today at candw.ky, or you can certainly call and make sure that our phone lines are available. Now, the debate in the Legislative Assembly has concluded, and the country has, to some extent, moved forward with respect to their view. Perhaps we can share this sentiment with you, as shared by one of our listeners, who writes it this way. He says, good afternoon. So I would just like to inform Mario, Johan, and all of the CPR group and all their supporters that no matter what they say or do, they won't stop the dock from being built. And what's wonderful is that we have a society where people still enjoy a sense of democracy and freedom, and if, like the port, they can say publicly that they'll vote yes for it, or they can say publicly that they'll vote no for it. And I'm hopeful that as people share their views, they do so because they want to. They do so freely. That as they do, that they're respected for their perspective. If you don't agree with it, that you can agree at least to respectfully disagree, and we can do so in a civilized way. Now, as some have shared, and as our guest yesterday, Miss Katina Anglin, said, it's not just a vote for her, for future generations. It's a vote that is not opposed to tourism or cruise tourism specifically. It's a vote that she wants to be able to make from an informed perspective, weighing up whatever concerns as she has determined are important, and deciding that, as she has shared publicly, that no, she can't vote any other way. She will vote no. Now, there are others who have said publicly they're going to vote yes. When it's tabulated, as long as we have confidence in the system, and like other jurisdictions where allegations that ballot boxes go missing, that people somehow significantly interfere in the process. thankfully, we have confidence not just in the people who run the elections, but in the people who participate as voters in the whole process to ensure that it is free and fair and that we have confidence in the outcome. Now, let's trust that that not only unfolds for this one, but for the next one, the one thereafter, and all that come, so that we can at least have that sense of confidence that our people respond in large numbers, as His Excellency the Governor has sort of invited, that there be a large turnout of the electorate, so that the government knows convincingly it's no, or that it's not no. 949-8837 or 949-6990, or you can always WhatsApp 925-3261, and the toll-free line is there for you. Now, Saturday, please join us for our annual Breeze Fusion Walk Run. Time you can still choose to get registered if you want, and come out and enjoy yourselves. Help us to continue our support of the wonderful charities, including NCVO. And tomorrow, we invite you to be a part of the discussion as we look at health and healthcare and One Health, and have a very, very engaged discussion for the remaining hour. Now, join me start in the morning for the record. Get in tune with him with all the wonderful political discussions that unfold on his show in the mornings, and come back for our talk today right after the midday news and midday meditation. Until then, my good friends, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Fidelity Bank. For all your banking needs, visit fidelitygroup.com. Fidelity, we're good for you.